Ben, how is it going today, man?
Not bad. Usual day in the life of a real estate syndicator, I guess.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Give us a little bit of background of where you came from and what you're up to now.
Yeah, so when I graduated college in 2011, Syracuse, I went to Barclays. I started investment banking for about a year, and then I was tenacious enough to network to my way to the buy side. I got a job at a hedge fund, a small credit opportunities hedge fund. Was there for another couple of years, and then I moved to a larger hedge fund, and that's where I, in hindsight, was smart enough to listen to some friends and started taking some of my bonus money and buying pieces of small buildings with them. That's how I got my start. And after a period of doing that for about 4 or 5 years, I got a call from one of my main lenders that they had a much larger deal, non-performing loan, cross-collateralized by a lot of apartments. And basically, long story short, I decided to leave the hedge fund I was at, buy the note, take out note-on-note financing, and raise some equity and start doing this full time. I'll be the first to say that I know this is a pretty popular phrase, but your net worth is your network in
Hmm.
real estate. It's not necessarily about what you know, it's who you know. You have to be getting that first call as a GP or as a potential investor. You have to have some kind of in my opinion, asymmetric competitive advantage on the sourcing side. Some reason that you're getting the call over somebody else, and that's usually that you offer certainty of close. And like you said, I came from investing in middle market, special distressed, and bankruptcies on the credit side. So high yield bonds, leverage loans, and you would see these investment banks like Credit Suisse and Deutsche Bank. They're because of some crazy rules, they're basically allowed to underwrite companies' earnings however they want. Like it would be called, like in terms of real estate, it would be the equivalent of like underwriting a building with 0% vacancy and zero property management and zero repairs and maintenance.
Hmm.
Just artificially increasing earnings to make them to dress them up to make, and that's called adjusted EBITDA. But or just that's what they do. So I already had a lot of experience with kind of not be, being trying to be misled before I got into the real estate business. Right now, I believe the most attractive opportunity, like in real estate in general, is either mobile home parks, or if you can find the right operator and the right asset manager, luxury RV destinations. I mean, just to kind of throw out some numbers that really nobody's aware of is, I mean, the average age of an RV owner in the United States now is 32 years old.
Oh wow.
So last year, or in 2022, 450,000 new RVs were sold, but only 15,000 new pads were built. So less than 3% of some new supply coming in. And the average age of existing RV destinations is 40 plus years. So,
Wow.
and they're all owned, 95% are owned by mom and pops and
Oh
they
wow.
don't even offer internet or cell phone service.
Wow.
And then let's say one last thing, what really just is mind blowing and kind of brings it full circle is post COVID, 60% of office workers are now permanently remote.
Hmm. Hmm. You
So
can work out of a mobile or a
it's an RV park.
motorhome. Yeah, RV. Yeah.
I mean,
Interesting.
it's not a 62-year-old middle class retiree. It's a 33-year-old IT guy with 4 computer screens working out of an RV.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah, those numbers are crazy.
I currently have multiple sites under construction right now in Louisiana and Alabama, because my research indicated that Florida and Texas were already semi-saturated with these
Hmm.
destinations, but Louisiana and Mississippi and Alabama had a rather remarkable lack of institutional presence. So that's where I chose to make my foothold. And basically, because there's a huge population migration, a huge wealth migration, and it really comes down to two simple things. The Southeast has two things that nowhere else in the country has. It has power and water. You can't build a factory in most states anymore because there's just not enough water. So it's stemming growth. So there's just a huge rush of construction, of money. Just the Southeast is going to be a boom for the next 10 plus years at least.
Nice.
And, you know, basically with the rise of glamping and outdoor hospitality in general, it's my opinion that in the next 4 to 6 years, the vast majority of the industry will be acquired by the Hiltons and the Marriotts, and they will own the outdoor hospitality industry. Always hire a local architect that is going in front of the planning board at least once a month and knows everyone on that board very well. Hire a local civil engineer. Just make sure you hire everyone local that are people that are well liked and that have, you know, more of like a pat on the back relationship with the right people, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to push your project through faster and get your inspection on the books a little, you know, a couple of weeks before the other guy, and those weeks make a big difference. I mean, don't think you're better off going with like a fancy architect from the city, or, you know, that's expensive and has, you know, is well known. No, go with the local guy who has a home office and
Right.
And also in terms of general contractors, at least, you know, get multiple quotes, and try to have a contract in place that limits or does not allow change orders, so they cannot try to rewrite the rules on you midway through.
Yeah. If you could go back 10 years, Ben, and set beside somebody maybe in the same path as you, kind of eyeballing the real estate piece kind of around you, whether coming from a hedge or in the finance world, what would you say to that person?
Don't spend money on cars or watches or things that you think are important to get people to think a certain way about you. Just really be comfortable in your own skin, because at the end of the day, that stuff is worthless. And, you know, like a $10,000 Rolex, if I invested that money 10 years ago, you know, it would be worth well over $150,000 today. That's money I do not have. And I'll be the first to admit I made some stupid decisions when I was younger. And obviously I made some good ones, but if I was going to go back and give anyone advice, it would be, you know, you don't need to drive a fancy car. The strongest man in the room is the silent man in the room, the guy, you know, driving the 10-year-old Toyota but owns 10 buildings and with no debt. That's the rich guy.
No debt, man. That just sounds good to me.